But I think it's a pretty beautiful site. I think it's Louise is going to jump in on this one, and she's going to head off the sort of hard pan area where it's a wall site, so we're at the sheer wall section. So pretty much right here is a big drop off into the abyss. So it's really, really cool. Last time Louise was here, she said she saw some siphomas. So there's a couple of. Do you guys know? You must know the flamingo tongue. I have actually pointed some out the last few days. The what? Flamingo tongue. If you see me pointing at my tongue and so you'll see these guys quite a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
So these are the flamingo tongue. So a rarer cousin of the flamingo tongue is the fingerprint siphoma. So you don't often see these as much. And actually, if you got your eyes are tuned in, you can actually get these siphomas as well. And then there's also some simnias, I believe they're called.
What kind of
simnias? Yeah. Pardon? They're snail. So they basically have a hard shell that they cover with a mantle that's decorated in all different colours and stuff to sort of make it look like they're poisonous, right? But if they feel like threatened or something, they will actually retrieve their mantle and show like a white shell thing. They are a snail. But yeah, the fingerprints you don't find very often. And Louise says she found a couple just next to the mooring pit, so she might sort of head that general direction, try and find them and see if they're still there, because they don't go very far. And they go very quite slow, and it takes them like a month to go down the road. So, and then also, if you make your way towards the lip and the edge of the wall, you'll see there's kind of like, it's like a buoy that doesn't quite make its way to the surface, and it's actually like a hydrophone. So you may have noticed some of the Nassau groupers have like these tags hanging off them. They kind of like got algae growth on them. So some of the tags are actually inside the groupers, and they actually kind of report where they swim. So these little hydrophones pick up signals and stuff, and they can track the progress of where these groupers are swimming around the island. So if you're wondering what that is, it's a scientific project. But the groupers, as you know, are pretty friendly around here, right? You get the Nassau groupers that come right up to you. Because Little Cayman, sadly, it did actually used to be quite famous for petting groupers. So dive masters would actively encourage you guys to stroke them. But we've discovered now that it's actually not good for them. And what happens, it kind of rubs the mucus that they secrete. It rubs the mucus off, and then it leaves them open to infections and diseases and stuff. So you might notice some of them, if you look into their nose almost looks like a sponge. It reminds me of a sponge, the kind of the indentation. Some of them are inflamed, and you can see they're almost like bulging out a little bit. And those are the ones who picked up some nasty diseases and stuff from us stroking them. But healthy groupers will live, 35 years or so. So they remember the times that you used to come down and stroke us. They're like coming up to you like, come on, man, like what happened? We used to be cool, man, like we used to be buddies, and now nothing, So please try and refrain from touching them for those reasons. But it's good for a photo opportunity. They come nice and close. And in this area, actually, this dive site, you might get one following you around for the whole dive. So, for the direction, what we're going to do, we're going to go west. So we're going to travel this direction in case there's current. But if there is current, we'll swap it. But generally, we like to go this direction on this dive site. And it's a deep dive, so you're welcome to drop down to a maximum of 110. Again, we're usually about 80 feet, but this section is so dramatic, this really beautiful drop off, and it kind of almost slopes, and then about 200 feet, you can see it kind of just goes off like that, so it's really, really cool. And then after about maybe 16 minutes or so, 17 minutes into your dive, you'll see the topography changes slightly. There's kind of like these step downs, almost like a bit of a mountain coming up. So it's really, really interesting topography to have a look around for the sponge life, look on the soft corals for those neck crabs that we see, obviously look above your head for turtles swimming by, and schooling fish above your head as well. In this area, actually, sometimes you get the red-banded lobster. So you might have seen the spiny lobsters and the spotted lobsters. The red-banded is a bit rarer and is a bit smaller, and there is one that lives in this area. But then look, when Louise decides she's ready to come back, she's going to come back on top of the hard pan, where it's around about 35 feet or so, and then she's just going to make her way back towards the boat. And then you get to this section that's really nice. You know how Great Wall East was kind of super flat, wasn't it? When we came back on the top, very fishy, but it was very flat. This has like a sort of almost like an indentation just cut into it, so a really nice kind of sunken area. There are a lot of barrel sponges and different life grow there, so it's really, really nice. And in this area you find quite a lot of the slender filefish, Actually burrfish, you get quite a few burrfish and those yellow rays as well. So, so plenty to see, lots of life. And then we're just going to gently zigzag our way back to the boat, looking out for squid as well. We did get a couple of squid yesterday, didn't we, in a line? So this is another good area for squid. So really, really cool. Donna's Delight is 110 feet is a maximum depth. Obviously no decompression of dive computers. You know, I stick to around 80 feet, and it's a 50 minutes dive for your dive time, including your safety.